Hello ladies and gents, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at yet another PlayStation 5 which has been sent in for no power, and if I'm being honest, these are kind of defeating me lately. I've seen way too many of them, probably going on for 20 just in the past couple of weeks alone, and the past 4 or 5 of them have been 2-second blue lights of death, and unfortunately I can't figure them out. It seems to be the same issue on each of them, and yeah, I just can't figure it out. So hopefully this one's not the same, because honestly it's kind of disheartening. But that being said, we are going to try and get this one fixed. But if you are new to the channel and you enjoy this type of content, I would really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and turn on the bell notifications, and that way you don't miss any future videos. And if you want to support me in any way, then you can do so by heading over to Twitch and becoming a Twitch Prime subscriber. It's absolutely free if you've got Amazon Prime, and it does massively help me out. Or you can become a channel member by clicking on the join button below the video, and also support me on Patreon using the Patreon link in the video description. So with that being said, first of all, a word from today's sponsor. Today's video was proudly sponsored by PCBWay.com. PCBWay make your next project an absolute breeze. From CNC machining to flexible PCBs, you wouldn't have to worry about the manufacturing process for your next big project. Whether it's a simple mod board or a fully fledged product, PCBWay handle it all. Their easy to use wizard allows you to input your project requirements, upload your design files using the one-click form, and then they handle the rest. Right now you can get 10 1 to 2 layer boards for as little as just $5, and what's more, the first order for new customers is completely free. PCBWay also offer full prototype PCB assembly from just $30 with component sourcing and 24-hour delivery services. Head over to PCBWay.com today and make your project a reality. Now back to the video. Alright, so I've got a nice cup of coffee in my mate Vince merch mug. You can check out my mate Vince's merch out over on his channel, highly recommend checking him out. And also I've got new merch as well, so make sure you check that out in the video description if you're rich and want to give me some of the money. But anyway, let's see what the deal is with this one. Hopefully it's not going to be another blue light of death. Okay. Appears to be completely no power. So someone actually left a comment the other day saying that I shouldn't be sitting there smashing the power button, like constantly spamming the power button. And actually, yes, I technically should. And the reason for that is because sometimes these won't attempt to fire up for quite some time when they've got a fault with the main board. So yes, I should be sitting here spamming the power button. And yes, sometimes it does give me a general idea of what's going on, but this one does look like it's got a power issue. So let's get it apart. This has, I think it's been opened. It's got a warranty sticker there, but it's not a genuine one, or unless this is one of the newer revisions. So let's get this thing apart then. I am going to keep pressing the power button occasionally just to annoy that person. They probably don't watch after the message I left them, to be honest. But, oh well. So, I am going to fast forward through this, but if you do want to see a teardown, then I recommend checking out the iFixit guide. They do make a pretty good guide. One day they might actually sponsor the channel, and I might actually be able to get loads of money. Then I won't have to do repairs. Right, so one thing I'm noticing here is this screw appears a bit wet, and we've definitely got some sort of liquid that's hit this here. So is this a liquid damage console? Maybe. Ah, that is a genuine sticker. So this is probably going to be a Rev 2 board then, which is going to be the 020 board. No, it's not. It's a Rev 1 board. It might be a US console or something. I don't know. But let's get it apart anyway. Spam that button once more to troll that person. Right, we are then. So I'm inside the console, and this is the 010. So yeah, bit weird, that warranty sticker. spam that button once more to troll that guy, but never mind. And now we're all hyped up on coffee. Right, so what I want to do first then is I want to use the multimeter and I want to scan for some voltages. The first voltage rail which needs to be present in order for anything to power up is going to be 12 volts. 12 volts required because that's what's put out by the power supply. And when 12 volt comes in, it gets distributed to the different voltage rails, such as the 5 volt, 3.3, 2.5, 2, 1.8, 1.1 and 0.8 volt rails. So basically, oh, and 1.5, forget about that for the RAM. But yeah, we need to check for those voltage rails and make sure that they're present, and that's going to give us a general idea of what's going on with the system, or at least it should. So let's use the multimeter and scan for some voltage rails. So I've got the cable plugged in, and you'll have to excuse my hands. I have just been working on a PS4 for another video, and it was rather dusty, so apologies for that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan for some voltage rails. So I've got my multimeter set into voltage mode on DC output. So let's check for 12 volt. So this big trace here carries 12 volt. And we do have 12 volt present. Okay. So the power supply appears to be fine. So let's check for a 5 volt rail. Straight away 5 volt is missing. Okay, so we've got no 5 volt at all. It's very difficult for you to see because my normal multimeter did pack up, but we've got no 5 volt. That does appear short as well. Do we have a 3.3 volt? We do not, so we're missing 3.3 as well. So because we're missing the 5 volt rail and the 3.3 volt rail, that means we're probably not even getting 3.3 volt to the power button. So just down here by this ribbon goes to the power button, and we're supposed to get 3.3 volts on this little resistor, and yep, absolutely we are not getting 3.3 volts either. I'm wondering if we're going to get any signs of heat. Doesn't appear so. So let's check some more areas then. So we're supposed to get 5 volts around F7002. F7002 is a 5 volt to 3.3 volt regulator, or at least this IC's. So we've got 5 volts which comes in on the right hand side, and we get nothing. Shut up, multimeter. Carry on interrupting me. Yeah, it went to 0 because you got scared. And again, we've got nothing on the other side, so that means we're not going to get 3.3 volts there. Okay. So, do we get 12 volts here? We do. Do we get 12 volts here? We do. So 12 volts is coming in absolutely fine. But it looks like because the 5 volt rail is missing, it's pulling everything else down to ground. So, yeah, something pretty severe is going on here. I'm checking for heat spots in common areas, but I'm not really seeing anything. Or rather feeling anything. Okay, let's get the motherboard out then. So we're going to get the board out because we need to check for some shorts, and we're going to need to check the other side of the board as well. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to struggle to get this ribbon out. Ah, damn it, you mofo. Now I've got to take that apart just to get that ribbon back in. Anyway, that's pretty annoying, but never mind. Alright, so I'm sure that I saw some signs of liquid. I am almost sure I saw some signs of liquid. Could be wrong, but I'm sure I did. Around here. So, no, not seeing any signs of liquid. There's that theory out the window. So, let's get the board on the desk on its own. And I'm going to scan in continuity mode now. So continuity mode is the mode on the multimeter which is going to go beep when we complete a circuit. So that's going to tell me if I've got a short between one point and another, or in this case it's going to tell me if I've got a short on any of the rails to ground. So basically, to get into continuity mode, you need to go into your resistance mode, or normally you would need to go into resistance mode and then use the select button until you get to the correct mode. So on my multimeter I've got resistance mode, diode mode and continuity mode all on one function, so I'll just select between the ones that I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop one probe on ground and I'm going to check for a short on this 5-volt line. Yep, there's a short there. How about my 3.3 volt line? No, there is not a short on the 3.3 volt line. So this transistor here is a 5-volt transistor, and I believe that puts out 3.3 volts down to here, and we're supposed to get 3.3 volts here, and that's not shorted to ground. So I'm assuming that because this one is shorted to ground, this one here is also going to be shorted to ground. So F7002. Yep, okay. And then the other side of the fuse is going to be shorted as well, as long as the fuse is working. Alright. So yeah, this is looking like it's going to be one that might be fixable then. So let's focus then on one of the main culprits of a 5-volt short, which is going to be F7002. So what I'm going to do, the way that I'm going to figure out whether or not it's F7002 is I'm going to basically remove this fuse, or at least knock it to one side. So the reason I'm going to do that is because that's going to isolate two sides of the circuit. So I'll add a teeny tiny bit of flux. And just move that fuse over, and then I'm going to come back with the multimeter, and we have no short there. We do have a short there. Okay, so we've got a short on this side of the fuse. Alright, well then if that's the case, it is voltage injection time. So voltage injection, basically what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use what's called a bench power supply. And a bench power supply is basically going to allow me to inject a little bit of voltage so as I can isolate the short. So what's going to happen is when I force voltage through the system, it's going to be low voltage. I'm going to start off at 1 volt because I don't want to risk damaging any of the other components or any of the lower voltage rails on the circuit, or rather on the board. So I'll start off at 1 volt, but what that's going to do, electricity always takes the path with the least resistance. So if I inject voltage, it's going to take that path with the least resistance, and the least resistance path is going to warm up because it's going to start sucking way too much current, and more current than it can handle, and it has to get rid of that excess energy somewhere, and it does that in the form of heat. So the component which is faulty should reveal itself with heat, hopefully, or at least that's the general idea. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it's just a pain in the backside. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to set the bench power supply up and I'm going to start injecting voltage, and then shut up multimeter, and then I'm going to start feeling around for some heat. So I'm going to take my probes, and I already know which side of the circuit it's going to be on because I have just isolated it, so I don't need to feel around here because it's, well, unless it's coming through from another path, then it's not going to be there. So I'm going to set the bench power supply up. I'm actually going to go for 1.2 volts, and let's just verify that. So I can verify that on the multimeter by just Sticking the probes in backwards, and we got 1195. Yep, so 1.2 volts. Cool. Alright, so I'm going to put one probe on ground, the black probe, and I'm going to inject 1.2 volts onto this side of this fuse here, and we are drawing a whopping 5 amps of current. It's maxing out my power supply, and already I can feel heat on that component there. Yep, that is getting hot. But the question is it that component? Let's find out. So this component, like I said, is responsible for regulating 5 volts, or at least I believe it is. But essentially this is carrying 5 volts, and I have had this before where this has been faulty. But what I'll do, just for a visual aid, just for you guys to see, I mean, I can feel it with my finger, but we haven't got field of vision, unfortunately. So what I'll do for you guys is I'll just drop a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on there, and then in 3, 2, 1. Interesting. It doesn't appear to be the transistor. Okay, so I'll keep current flowing. It actually appears to be the capacitor, or whatever's on the other side of that line, because that's what's getting hot. So if I just, can you see that little cap there, which is refusing to take any kind of IPA? Come on, drink your medicine. Drink your medicine. Come on, be a good boy. No, he won't take its medicine. Well, that appears to be the capacitor. It doesn't appear to be the transistor. It could still be that transistor, but that capacitor is what's getting hot, so that's what I'm going to remove. So there's that cap gone, and now let's see if we still have a short. So I've got the probes back on the multimeter, and let's just probe this directly. So I'm connected to ground, and would you look at that, we have no short. And if we go into diode mode here, we're getting a good reading. Well, I will be damned. Let's put a new capacitor on there, shall we? I don't know the value of that cap, so I will be taking it from a donor. So I'll just tin this with some fresh leaded solder. You notice how in the UK we pronounce solder correctly. None of this solder crap. There we go. So some fresh leaded solder, and then I'm going to make sure that this cap isn't short to ground on this donor board. It is not. Okay, excellent. So now I'm going to remove this and I'm going to put it straight onto my board that I'm working on, and I'm hoping that's going to clear my fault. Damn it, I lost the cap. Let's take it from another board. There we go. And there we go. So now we need to move that fuse back. So we're going to come over here to F7002. And the fuse is broken. No, I can't use that. I can't reuse that fuse. Alright. Okay. It's fine. I can use the donor board. I did just realise I've just dropped that on there without being in focus. I apologise. I wasn't even looking through the microscope, to be honest. I was just kind of in the zone. And that's that. Alright, so let's just clean this up. Let's clean this up. Beautiful. That's more like it. Alright. So now that the fuse is back and the capacitor's back, let's just make sure we don't still have a short. So one probe on ground there. Excellent. Oh, hang on. We wasn't in continuity mode. Now we are. And there we go. Boom. Fuse. Fuse? Short is gone. Fuse. Alright, the short is gone. So now, let's just get it back together. Just enough to test it. And hopefully, that's all there is to it. Right, so there's the boarding, but I do need to just sort out this front panel. I think I have to take the entire frame out. Well, let me just put this back for now then, just so as it doesn't fall out on me. So I'll put this back and then I'll sort out that front panel. These are super annoying when this happens, to be honest, because then we've got to take the front panel off, take this board out, and then take the metal plate off the front of it just to be able to get to that ribbon. So it doesn't happen often, but it is super annoying when it does. There we go. That is literally all there is to it, and we have to do all of that. Pretty annoying. There we go. I bet I'm torturing you guys, making you wait to see if this works. But either way, I had to do that, so yeah, sorry. My bad. Okay, now we'll test it. Okay? Alright. So let's check for some voltage rails. Let's see if we've got 5 volt back. Alright, so we're in DC volts. We've got 12 volts there. Yeah, we got 5 volts there. Let me just see if I can get you a view. 5 volts, baby. Do we have 3.3? Oh yeah. 5 volts here. 5 volts here. Yeah. 3.3. Yes. Come on, baby. Alright. Let's put you guys out your misery. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's how it's done. One tiny capacitor. Please go white now. I will scream if this light doesn't go white. One tiny capacitor that costs less than a penny. Less than a penny. And a £350 machine is bricked. Plug in the HDMI. I'm happy now. I'm happy now. Shut up, PlayStation. Beeping on me. Anyway. Give me a display. Oh, that was perfect timing. That's what I'm talking about. Right. That's it. This is done. I do still need to give this an extended test and make sure that everything is working as it should do. But yeah, as you can see, it's turned on and that's the way I like it. So yeah, that's going to be this video. Thank you very much for watching. So just to summarise on this then, shut up multimeter, I'm trying to do a video. Just to summarise on this then, the 5 volt rail was missing because of a capacitor which had decided that it wanted to turn itself into a wire and basically short itself directly to ground. That was pulling the 5 volt rail down, which was pulling the 3.3 volt rail down. And if the 3.3 volt rail is missing, then the console doesn't know to try and turn on. And if the 5 volt rail is missing anyway, then obviously it's not going to turn on no matter what. So yeah, the tiny little capacitor, literally less than a penny. And replacing that has obviously solved the issue. As you can see, it's turned on. It's not got a blue light of death or anything like that. And hopefully this console can live for another couple of weeks before it dies again. PlayStation. Anyway, so that's going to be for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you do have any comments or questions, leave them down in the comment section down below. I'll always do my best to answer, and I do really enjoy reading what you guys have to say. If you do want to support me in any way, if you find these videos useful, if maybe it's helped you to fix yours, then you can support me if you really want to. You can head over to Twitch and become a Twitch Prime subscriber by linking your Amazon Prime account to Twitch and then subscribing to my channel that way. Completely free for you to do, massively helps me out. You can also become a channel member by clicking on the join button below the video, or you can become a Patreon sponsor by heading over to Patreon and doing it that way as well. You can also click on the donate button in the video description as well. That all massively helps me, and yeah, I do genuinely appreciate the support. So that's going to be for now. Another PlayStation 5 fixed, and I'm super happy about it. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye for now.